Chris Eubank. With the slightly less intellectual business of trying to flatten your opponent. A chance to examine the credentials of Chris Eubank and Dennis Cronin. Eubank from Brighton won his first 5 encounters in Atlantic City, USA. He's firmly entrenched back home now with a 100% record so far. Cronin, at 27, is 4 years older. Fought in Italy a couple of years ago, but is nothing like as widely travelled as Eubank. Ringside for us are Simon Reed and Barry McGuigan.
Chris Eubank, as you can tell, is hardly a shy man. A complete extrovert with a fine range of skills and total self-belief. 19 wins in 19 fights, 10 of them KOs, and a man of immense talent. And Cronin knows that he has to get to him and get to him early to try and dent that self-belief.
Yes, very confident guy, Eubanks, bordering on arrogance. The way he entered the ring was he vaulted over the ropes, and he's very confident. He doesn't care what anybody thinks about him. He moves very well. He's a very unusual footwork, but very effective. He certainly has a better boxing ability, and certainly has a lot of power. Cronin, on the other hand, is very strong, come forward. He only knows one way to fight, that's to get stuck in.
Quite bewildering accuracy early on from the man who totally dismisses every other British middleweight apart from Harold Graham, a chess player. You heard him call Harold Graham, and he says, I'm a bit of a chess player myself.
Yes, I think the worrying thing is that maybe Cronin, even though he's a young man, is a bit worn. He's had quite a lot of difficult, tough fights, and that'll take his toll tonight.
And the crowd are less ecstatic about Eubank's ability than the fighter himself, and you can tell every time that Cronin lands a great roar from the crowd here at the Star Leisure Centre in Cardiff.
Yes, a tremendous crowd, and we're very much behind Cronin. Eubanks is already shaking Cronin with a right hand there, and he's picking him off very nicely. The good thing about Eubanks is he's very accurate. He doesn't miss very often, and he's patient, and that's what it takes to be a good fighter.
As he really rocked him with that first right cross, and Cronin hanging on at the moment. Into the last half minute, and you can see already why Eubank has so many supporters. Looks totally composed. Another beautiful uppercut.
He's picking his shots very nicely. He selected 2 beautiful uppercuts there in the last half minute. and right hand over the top and immediately afterwards. Cronin's keeping a very tight guard, but he'll have to, because this guy is sharp on acting.
And look at Eubank there. And no wonder he gets so many people's backs up. There's one thing being an entertainer, and another thing maybe trying a little bit too hard, and he's certainly got the crowd against him here, but maybe that's what he's all about. And Cronin listening to the advice from his corner, trainer Di Gardner. What would he be telling him at the moment?
He'd be telling him to keep his hands up, keep in there. You know, obviously he's got to open up a bit more. He's not throwing enough punches. He's allowing Eubank to throw more punches as a result of that, and he's got to start opening up. But the problem there is, it's going to be dangerous. We'll go to Eubanks now, and he's going to be told to stop being so cocky and confident and get stuck in and do his job right. Box and keep picking his punches and picking this guy apart, and that's what he's doing.
And referee Roddy Evans had a word with Eubank during the break there and said, stop clowning around, I can take so much of that, just get on with your work. Has a great regard for Harold Graham, and in many ways reflects that, doesn't he? His disdainful approach to his opponent.
Yes, I know that he worked with Harold before he fought McCallum, and he found him very, very difficult in sparring, and got fed up trying to hit him. I know that, and that's obviously he has a high regard for Harold as a result of that. Harold is a very effective boxer and very hard to hit. You couldn't hit him with a handful of stones. But Eubanks he's got a bit of everything there, and it's very impressive. I just wish he wasn't so overconfident.
The crowd roaring Cronin in.
Somebody's cut. I see a lot of blood. I think it's Cronin.
He just cannot get to Eubank. I think he's cut around the mouth.
Oh, nice left hook. Right hand over the top.
Cronin still fighting back, but getting picked off at will here by this master tactician.
That's it. Very brave Cronin, but I think he's only hiding to nothing here. Eubanks is much more skillful, and he's picking his punches very nicely.
A lot of Welsh passion around the ring as well as inside it. They'd love to see...
The Welsh like a brave man, and Cronin is certainly brave, but I think too brave for his own good. This is going to be a very difficult night's work, to say the least.
Eubank seems to like fighters who come on to him like Cronin, and he's standing off and teeing off on that.
That's right. He enjoys somebody where he can use his full arsenal of punches and his full repertoire of punches. And he certainly is doing that tonight. There's a right hand, left hook, and a right uppercut. Cronin is badly cut. He's fighting back viciously now.
He's had terrible problems with a nose injury, Cronin, and he's cut on the nose and in the mouth. He's had surgery on the nose early last year, and he's never really recovered from several terrible beatings around it. Coming to the end of round two. So brave, the Welshman.
Trying desperately hard, but he hasn't landed a clean punch in the first 2 rounds. There's Eubanks around the corner. We have the pose from Eubank, which is silly, and not doing himself any favours with the crowd. That's ridiculous. He shouldn't be doing that sort of thing, but I suppose that's what makes him tick. He's arrogant and overconfident, and that's what he needs to keep him going. What a fight. It's been tremendous so far.
Yes, you may love him or hate him, but Cronin knows he's up against...
Yes, he's some damage to his nose there, and certainly to his lip. He's losing a lot of blood. I see a lot of blood splashing around, and it's certainly not coming from Eubanks. He's not cut at all. It's either his mouth or his nose.
Yes, he had surgery on the nose in January of last year. He's had 4 fights since. He came back really well to outpoint Roy Close of Belfast at Kirby in his last fight. And here's just an
Some of
example
the
of
action in the
similar,
second round, yeah.
amazing repertoire.
Fighting back.
So round 3. Straight in goes Cronin, and again onto a big right hand. And the crowd, I can tell you, are getting fed up with Eubank's attitude, but they must also be marvelling at his skills. And he's really teeing off at him now, and surely this can't last much longer, however brave Cronin is.
You see, the thing is, Cronin is keeping his hands tight to his chin, and although he's taken quite a lot of stick on his gloves and round the side of his head, he has not been hit cleanly because of the fact that he's keeping his hands tight in there. So it could last quite a while. Hell of a fight, a lot of action, good punches from both people.
Terrific atmosphere. Eubank starting to look into the crowd. He looked down at Barry here, I think, for approval. And whilst Barry, I'm sure, is admired as we all are of his skills, I think the attitude leaves something to be desired.
Yes, it reminds me a bit of Apollo Creed in the Rocky film. Now there's Cronin, he's on his way out now. He's been badly hurt. Right uppercut, left hook, referee stopped the fight. That's it.
Roddy Evans.
Wise decision, a very good move on the referee's part. I think that was absolutely right.
Roddy Evans comes in halfway through round 3, and that really was a formidable performance. Maybe not quite as good as Eubank thought it was, but it still was one heck of a performance from a fighter who's ranked number 2 in the middleweights, and can really be ranked alongside now Ben, Watson, and possibly even Graham.
I certainly believe he's one of the best middleweights, super middleweights in the country. He, I don't know whether he can do middleweight and be strong at it. Certainly looked very effective tonight.
But he's not winning any friends with his attitude. And he really has to cut that out.
15 seconds of the
Here's the end of the fight.
Yes, this is the left uppercut, and watch the right hand right down. That's the first one. See his neck buckling there. Hit him with a good left hook. He's staggering and just about gathers himself. He's then hit with a right uppercut again. Sorry, it's a right hook, a left hook, and a right uppercut. And the referee had enough. He'd seen enough at that stage. Very skillful performance by Eubank.
20 wins out of 20 for this 23-year-old from Brighton, and you'll be hearing a lot more, for sure, from Chris Eubank.
Well, Dennis said it was going to be rough. It was from his point of view.
As a very tough, strong fighter. All I need in my career is people like this on my side, you know?
They don't seem to like you. I wonder why. Perhaps because they're Welsh, eh?
Well, it's always the way. They'll see me again fighting for a world title, and they will like me.
How soon is that going to be?
Well, just as soon as Denny Cronin can come up to the gym in Romford and work with me. We just talked about it, and he's agreed to come up there and help me because he's one of the strongest fighters I've ever been in the ring with. All he needs is a little skill, and he will go a long way.
How far are you going to go, though, and how long before you get a world title crack?
Well, you look at the opposition in this country, you look at me, it won't be long now. My first title shot is for the WBC international title against Hugo Corti, hopefully in Brighton Centre, March 6th. And that title belongs to me. Michael Watson, Nigel Benn, you're not capable of beating me. My skills are far superior to yours. Harold Graham is the only man in this country who can touch me. I'm the only man, well, I may sound a bit hot, but I am. Harold Graham.
The only man who can what?
I'm the only man in Europe who probably can beat this man. I know how.
If only you weren't so modest.
You can't be modest in this game. They give tennis players lots of money. They get to talk a lot. We only get a little time. So I'm taking full advantage of it, you know. Thank you very much. I'm well appreciated. Okay. And let me just say...
You ever stop talking?
Apart from 2 fighters in the whole world, I accept all competitors, all contenders. I say again, all participants. I say again, all comers.
Okay, I think the message is clear. Thank you very much indeed, Chris. Well done. They booed him, so he must have done well. Well, on stage next, it's the return of Jess Harding. Yes, they don't like him, do they? The return of Jess Harding, who was dumped by Gary Mason 6 months ago when he challenged for the British heavyweight title. He still thinks he deserves another chance. Does he?